All right, everybody. I'm glad everybody could join us for some football commentary. I have a really good guest today. He's the OG of Niners fans. He reps out like nobody else. I want you guys to check out his channel, Niners Sickness. He puts a lot of work, and the quality of his setup is second to none. So subscribe to Niners Sickness and give him the likes, the subscribes that he needs because he puts a lot of work into his stuff, and I think he deserves it. So we're just gonna get right into this. Niner Sickness. I'm gonna ask you about yourself. Tell you about I want to hear your story, how you became a Niners fan. You told me off camera, but I want to let the fans know how exactly this all came to be and how you became to be the OG of all Niner fans.
I appreciate it. Thank you first and foremost for having me on your podcast, brother. It's an honor to be on here
No
with
problem.
49ers first takes. Did not mess it up. But because I was having an issue messing up your name, so I apologize. So
Oh, it's
I
okay.
worked on that. But it's an honor being on here, bro. Yeah, I've been a Niner fan for a very long time, since the 70s, and I watched the bad, the good, and the ugly when it comes to our 49ers. So being a fan, as long as I have, you've seen it all. You've seen the good, you've seen the bad, and you've seen the ugly. And I have experienced that, man. So, like I said, I'll be off the camera. I was a Steve DeBerg, watching Steve DeBerg play before Montana was drafted, and then bringing in Montana. Everybody knows Montana
Hmm.
because of the four Super Bowls, and he's the GOAT, the legend. But you got to keep in mind when you're watching Steve DeBerg and Joe Montana's coming at a late pick from Notre Dame, he wasn't the Montana that we all know
No.
today. So back then there was a lot of like, did we get the right quarterback? There was other quarterbacks, there was other prospects that were better in college than Montana back then. So people need to realize, from my perspective, I thought I was concerned. Not thought I was concerned. Like, is Montana the real deal? Well, moving forward, we all know that the Niners
Absolutely.
definitely made the right decision. They made the opposite decision of Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers, right? So,
Hmm.
uh, growing up as a Niner fan, most of my family, and I say most, those that are fans of football, all of them are Raider fans. So, um, I never was one to follow the trend. I always wanted to go against the current. So I was like, man, they're all Raider fans. They're all silver and black. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't even care about football. So let me get into football. And I started looking, and I started looking across the bay, and I started looking at the red and gold. And mind you, the red and gold back then wasn't the red and gold that we all know and love. They were terrible. They were the laughing stock of the NFL. They were the New Orleans Saints before Breeze got there. Um, so, but I chose them because they were the opposite of what my family liked, and I'm so glad that I did that. I did not realize that I was going to choose a team that was going to be who it is today with Eddie DeBartolo and company. So I've been spoiled, brother. I've been spoiled of watching two Hall of Fame quarterbacks back to back, and
Yep.
also spoiled watching two Hall of Fame quarterbacks on the same roster for a
Yeah.
couple of years. You
You
can't see
got it.
that. You won't see that nowadays uh, with the whole thing of the money and everything. You're not going to see that. So uh, I got spoiled. So yeah. So 77, I became a fan of the Niners, um, and I just never looked back, bro. Just continue to watch them play, and Roger Craig and Ronnie Lott, Randy Cross,
Yep.
Harris Barton,
Harris Barton. Yep.
all
Jesse
the
Sapolo.
McIntyre, Bubba Paris, and company. Just all these Tina Turner. I met Tina Turner, became good friends with him when
You
he
met
was.
Tina Turner.
Yes, oh yeah,
Oh my
lots of time.
lord.
And I never met him as a Niner. I met him when he retired because he was a big. He was actually. I don't know if you guys ever heard of arena football, but and here in San Jose, there was the San Jose SaberCats arena
Okay.
football, and Tina Turner was a big advocate for it, and he was always at the games, and he was always announcing and talking about the SaberCats. So that's where I got to know him. not personally, but got to know him in person and was able to chop it up with him, but never as a Niner active player. But still, it's still the same guy and the dude. And then I even met Marshall Falk in the elevator there
Wow.
at the Arena Bowl. He went to watch a championship of the SaberCats against Arizona Rattlers, and so yeah. But all those great teams, man, all the great players back then, and I love it.
That's awesome, man. You had like I was telling to everybody, I was telling him off stream that he's kind of the OG of 49er fans, and he's got two main reasons for that. Well, they're kind of one reason. You got to tell them what you witnessed in person or how many of them you witnessed in person, because a lot of these guys like CG and Jay in the Bay, they've been to games and they live on the West Coast. I live on the East Coast, but you definitely have it on me. You have it on all these young bucks. Tell them what you've experienced live.
Well, watching football and becoming a fan, and and getting invited to a game. Everybody has a memory of their first 49er game. If you ever been to a 49er game, everybody has their memorable game because it's your first that you ever experienced. Well, excuse me, lucky for me, my first game that I ever experienced was the championship game with the Niners versus the Cowboys, the much hated Cowboys, the Dwight Clark catch, the famous catch. And I was telling my brother, I was on the opposite side of the field, but nevertheless, I experienced that. And I'm telling you, Candlestick erupted when that catch was made because it was our first trip ever to the Super Bowl. And it was amazing. And, if I would experience just that within itself, it would have been for a lifetime. I would have been content. But I've been blessed with the opportunity to be invited to go not to one, not to two, not to three, not to four, but all five Super Bowls. And I watched them in person at the stadium. So it was fun. And I don't fly. Okay. So none of this, I was taken by car. None of these, I never flew. I've flown 2 times, bro. I'm not a guy that likes to jump in the airplane and fly. If I have to, I will.
I don't blame you, bro.
Yeah, I'm not I know that flying is the safest thing in the world, but yeah, my luck
According to
is that,
Superman, it's still the safest way to travel. But
yeah, but my luck is the
whatever.
first time I get on there, it's the time that, so nah.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? At least in my head.
Yep.
So so as a kid, I got to experience that. So it's been something that I will hold on to for the rest of my life. I got tattoos. I got, everything around me, but those memories within itself are in here and in here, and I'll take you out to my grave. But they're great experiences, man. Being at the Silver Dome, which is not even there anymore.
Nope.
Being in Miami, which the stadium is there, but it's not the same name anymore. And all the areas.
They had the one in Santa Clara too.
And and actually Palo Alto.
Yes, Palo Alto. That's right.
Palo Alto was the one where the closest one to me, because I'm born and raised in San Jose, which is about 40 minutes away from San Francisco.
Man,
I moved away now. Now I'm about an hour and 45 minutes away from San Francisco, but still not that far from there. So I'm born and raised in the West Coast and been here all my life, bro.
There's a question here in the comments from a man named Fernando Medina, and I was going to leave it for later, but I guess I'll ask it now. He says, wow, how great your life has been as a Niners fan. Question, how do you grade our current team to that you saw in the 70s and early 80s? Are we any close to another Super Bowl in your opinion?
Wow, that's a good question.
Right? Good job, Fernando.
Yes, Fernando. Very good question. Roster-wise, yes. Coach-wise, yes. Quarterback, it's nothing against Jimmy G, but we had the Steve Young, we had the Joe Montanas, of our day. So those were the X factors on those
Yep.
teams in the 80s. We had the Jerry Rice, the John Taylors. We had the Brent Jones, a tight end. We had Roger Craig at running back. So we had the defenses,
Yep.
but everything starts and ends with a quarterback if
That's
you're going
right.
to make it uh, all the way to win the Super Bowl. To me, making it to the Super Bowl is one thing. Having that if factor to getting, let's be honest. Look how bad Kansas City started against the 49ers defense.
Yep.
Mahomes was getting beat up left and right, but quarterbacks like Mahomes, Steve Young, the Joe Montana, that have that X factor, he found a way in the fourth
That's
quarter
right.
to
When it
put the
mattered.
team on his shoulders and win the game. I don't care how many people think Jimmy G is great and how many games, how many games we won. We have never won a game because of Jimmy G. We had won games with Jimmy G, but not because of Jimmy G. And to me, to answer that question, Fernando, hopefully with Trey Lance, ask me that question again in about a year. Maybe I'll have a better answer for you because I think Trey Lance may be that it factor that we're looking for in a quarterback position, but we don't have it with Jimmy G. I'm sorry.
I completely 100% agree. Like you said, man, I mean, I've grown up through, the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I've seen Hall of Fame quarterbacks, not just on the Niners, but on other teams. You can sometimes win with a really good defense and an average quarterback, but that's more of an anomaly
Yes.
than the norm.
Yes.
Normally, to win a Super Bowl, you have to have a good running game, at least an average to above average defense, and a quarterback who, when the game's on the line and things ain't going right, can find a way to elevate his play so that he elevates the play of the people around him. Montana did it. Young did it. Brady's done it. Listen, I am not. I despise the
But
fact
I
that
hear
Brady's
you.
got more Super Bowls than Joe, but Brady just finds a way to when the game's on the line. If I couldn't have Joe Montana in the fourth quarter, I would take Tom Brady. Those are my two guys, all day, every day. Joe will always be number one to me because he's my favorite 49er player of all time. And then it's Jerry Rice, of course. But if I can't have Joe, I'm going to take Tom. And the reason is that Tom elevates everybody around him. Tom can make average receivers be great. You don't see that with like Garoppolo. Garoppolo needs to have a lot of stuff working around him for him to be great. If
Yes.
things start to fall apart around him, he can't elevate. And I hope Trey Lance is the type of quarterback who can elevate people. You know what I mean? Whether that's taking off and running for 50 yards, I'm excited. I was looking at one of the camp reports, and they said that the only two balls that touched the ground in camp today from Trey Lance were both on the players that were trying to catch it, not on Trey. One was a drop, and one was a receiver tripping. So I hope and pray that this kid is everything and more that we want and that we drafted. He's got the right attitude, man, for sure. He seems like a really good kid too, and I can call him a kid because I'm an old man. Um,
And I'm
but
older,
he's a
so I'm
young.
with you.
Yeah, you're even older. So we'll see, man. It is. The quarterback is the most important position in football. I don't care what anybody says. You can tell
Yep.
me that defense wins championships. That's true. But quarterbacks, to me, are the most important player on the team. And if you don't have a great quarterback or a really good quarterback, you're not going to win. Look what the Rams did, man. They went to the Super Bowl with Goff. They freaking scuttlebutted his butt right out of there and got themselves Matt Stafford. Now, I don't know if Matt Stafford's going to be the answer, but he's definitely better than what they've had. So it's going to be interesting, man. I'm looking forward to this season for sure. I don't know about you, Niner Sickness, but if you had to put one thing as the determining factor whether we're going to have a good season, wouldn't you say that injuries or the lack of having injuries this year will definitely determine whether we have a good season or not? Because that seems like to me the roster that we have is good enough to win, but it's all going to come down to health. What do you think?
I agree. And before I answer that question, if you don't mind me going a little bit back to the Tom Brady
Mm-hmm.
being a quarterback. Whether I understand that a lot of people don't like Tom Brady, but listen, Tom Brady is a San Mateo kid, born and raised in
Yes,
San
he is.
Mateo, California kid. He grew up idolizing Joe Montana.
That's
He
right.
was a huge Joe Montana fan. He had Joe Montana in his house, in his room. The kid just grew up loving everything about Joe Montana. So I'm not a big Tom Brady fan either, but if you're going to have someone be successful in the football world, why not have a kid that grew up, in my opinion, worshiping and loving his idol, Joe Montana?
That's right.
And as a parent, for those that are parents, you always want your kid to be better than you. Although Montana is not Brady's parent, but Montana was his idol. So you always want the person growing up to be better than you. And Tom Brady has. I'm not going to sit there and argue that whether who's better and who's not, but he's been very successful in what he's won, winning 7 championship. One of them with a whole different team. So kudos to Tom, whether you like him or not. He's been successful. He loves the Niners. He was a big Niner fan. I believe he's still a Niner fan at heart. So, yeah, I mean, how can you not root for him when he's a Niner fan like us? The only difference is he's playing professional football, so he has to play for a different team.
That's
He would have
right.
played for the Niners if the Niners would have drafted him, but that's not his fault. So anyway, moving on to that. Back to your question. So if you don't mind asking me that question again, so I just wanted to share that about Tom Brady. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No, I just think in my mind, health is our biggest enemy this year, and I feel like
Okay.
if we do have health, I feel like we could make a good run at it. What's your opinion on that? Do you agree? Because I think you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Health is everything, not just of the Niners, for every team. Listen, I understand injuries is part of football. I understand that.
Right.
Bumps and bruises, hip, intuitions, all that's part of football. It's a physical game. But I'm sick and tired of the MCLs, all these season-ending injuries that have occurred. If you look at the list that the Niners have from last year, how many of our starters missed? I mean, I think Garoppolo missed 10 games. If Kittle missed about 8 or 9 games. Bosa missed the whole season. You had Deebo missing 8 games or 9 games. Those are a lot of games to miss. We're not talking about missing a game here and there because of little
Right.
bruises. We're talking about missing majority of the season. Those are the type of injuries that I want to stay away from.
Mm-hmm.
We can recover when Kittle misses a game because he's little bruised and he got to let the swelling go down or whatever. But when you miss him for 8 games, that's tough. So to your question, if we are healthy, and that's to me is our greatest adversary. It's not the teams, and not to take away nothing from the teams that we're going to play. They're
Right.
professionals within their own right. But our greatest opponent is the health. If we can win against being healthy, I definitely believe we can win it all in 2021 and
I
represent the
believe that too.
49ers in the Super Bowl. It's that staying healthy because we have the roster. We upgraded a lot of the areas that we were weak in last year. We upgraded. We were weak at center. We upgraded with
Yep.
Alex Mack. We were weak at right guard. We upgraded by drafting Aaron Banks, a Mauler, to put in there. Mike McClinchy gained some weight. He's going to play better. He's to me, he's personally underrated. Great run blocker. He has to work on his
Yes.
pass protection. Lincoln Tomlinson is not all great, but he's solid. And then we
Mm-hmm.
have the great guy at number 71, baby, Trent
John
Williams,
Williams, baby.
that we brought back, taking over for Joe Staley at the left tackle position. So our line is just gotten better. Then
Mm-hmm.
we bring Trey Sermon. Then we bring Elijah Mitchell in the 6th round.
Mm-hmm.
We still have Raheem Mostert. Jeff Wilson Jr. got hurt, but he'll be back and he'll be fresh legs. We brought in Wayne Gallman,
Yep.
free agent, which I like a lot. I'm a Clemson Tigers fan, by the way, so I like him when he played with Deshaun Watson and the 2 championship games there. So we're set up to be successful. We got the greatest tight end.
Yes, we do.
We have arguably the greatest middle linebacker in the NFL
Yes, we
signed
do.
up, locked up. Greatest left tackle locked
Yep.
up. 3 cornerstones locked
Yes,
up.
exactly.
We just brought in a possible cornerstone at the quarterback position and drafting him with the third overall and Trey Lance, we're definitely putting ourselves in a great position to be successful for many years to come. But to your point, if we can stay healthy, I don't see why we could not make the playoffs and the Super Bowl this year with the roster that we have.
Let me ask you this question, because this has been popping up on my Twitter for a little bit. It's one of those, what could it happen? It's not going to happen, but people are all asking around, can the Niners make a trade for Xavier Howard? And what would he like? To me, a player like him, it's not going to happen, but he's probably one of the best, if not the best corner in the NFL, Xavier Howard from Miami. That, to me, would be a player that would put the Niners over the top, like no doubt in my mind. It's been on my Twitter for a while. A lot of Niners fans are saying, is it possible? I just don't think the Niners have the draft capital, to pull something like that off. But yeah, I let my mind go there for a little bit. I usually don't with these, what if the Niners did this? Can they do this? I don't do it because I just don't want to. You get yourself into that, and then when it doesn't happen, you get pissed off. So, but I saw that the other day. My brother's a big Miami Dolphins fan, and he can't believe that the Dolphins aren't taking care of Xavier Howard. And yeah, he's probably like the best corner in the NFL in my mind. So if you have what's his name on the Rams, Jalen Ramsey is the number one, then he's probably number two. So, but I don't know. What do you think about that? If the Niners ever made a move like that, how crazy would that be? That'd be like bringing in Dion in his prime.
Believe it or not, the asking price for him is not going to be high.
Really?
Yes. I'm hearing a 2 and a 5.
I have heard that too.
A 2 and a 5 for him. And we definitely have the 2 and the 5. Yes, we don't have a number 1 and we don't have a 3. So that means next year we're probably going to have to sleep through the draft.
Yes.
And not worry about watching it. But to your point, if you're excited about this roster now,
right?
We may or may not be in contention for the Super Bowl. If you add this kid to that secondary, immediately we become one of the favorites from Vegas to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. So is it totally impossible? No. It is very doable, very possible. Is it something that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan want to do? For one thing I've learned from these two gentlemen, they look heavily into the future. They want to win today. They want to win now, and everybody does, but not at the cost of putting your franchise in jeopardy years to come. Not to say that Xavier will be that, but draft capital is very important every year because everything changes. But would I be opposed to it? No. If they did that, I would be stoked because you are bringing a great caliber player to this West Coast and this amazing defense. Let me tell you, a great secondary complements a good front four. And a good front four complements the secondary. So
it all works together. It all works together,
yes. So if we get him, boy, oh boy, the faithful will just erupt because that would make us an instant contender for the
That would definitely make us a Super Bowl contender for sure. I mean, you might have a secondary that might be able to stop Tom Brady. Maybe. Yeah,
that'll be the Russell Westbrook coming to my Lakers that I just been.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
That's not fair about that.
That's just not fair. Russell Westbrook's one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah, I know not a lot of people talk about three-point shooters, and we need that. We lack of it, but when you can bring, and I know this is football, but when you can bring Westbrook into a team, the way he distributes the ball, yeah, he's not the great three-point shooter anymore. You can't rely on that with him, but he just makes everybody around him bigger. And we just talked about the quarterback that does that, right? Westbrook does that. We don't need that with already LeBron. So imagine LeBron's going to control the court. So, yeah. So anyway, bringing Xavier is like bringing Westbrook to the Lakers, man. Instantly makes you a contender for that chip, in my opinion.
I let my mind go there. I don't usually let it go there when it comes to, could this happen? Would the Niners be willing to make this move? But other content creators that I've had on this channel and that I follow, they've kind of put it out there on their timeline. So I figured I'd ask you because I know you're as diehard can be. So
Just a little bit.
speaking of the secondary, I guess we'll go into that.
Okay.
What is your take on this secondary? It's kind of top heavy. When I mean top heavy, I mean Jason Verrett and then everybody else. Are you worried about the secondary? I know we drafted 2 young corners in Embry Thomas and Diamador Lenore.
Lenore, yeah.
And there's young corners. It's hard, and Jason Verrett he played really, 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 really good last year, but he hasn't been healthy his whole career. He had one really good healthy year, and that was last year. Are you worried about the secondary? Because it's definitely a concern for me. I asked Larry Krueger last night, and he definitely he thinks if people play in their roles and people don't get hurt, we might be all right. But if it definitely has to go to the young guys and we have to depend on them, then it could be something that he thinks that the young guys might play well. He goes, but until it's something to worry about, he said pretty much, he's not going to worry about it. But I let my mind go there. What do you think? Are you a little bit concerned about the depth at corner? Would you be opposed to the Niners bringing in? I know they're looking at Dre Kirkpatrick right now, who used to play for the Bengals and the Cardinals. I'm totally fine with them bringing in a veteran corner if need be. What is your opinion on that?
I agree 100%. Am I concerned? Yes. If you're a fan, you need to be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Verrett is great. He had a great year. And when he's in his A game and he's healthy, he's one of the best.
He is.
But the reality is he has been injury prone. Now, I do like where his mindset is.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure I point that out. He was asked in the beginning of this offseason about, what does he look forward in 2021? Is, the injury. He's like, listen, I am healthy as ever been. I'm coming into camp healthy. That was then. This is now. So I like his mindset. But the reality is injuries are part of the game. We have depth in every position except our secondary, in my opinion. We have it in the front line, in the D-line, offensive line, running backs. Receivers is just not so much. But in the secondary, if Jason Verrett does go down, it can jeopardize our season a lot because that would put a lot of pressure on how much sacks we have to now generate to put pressure, and then exposes. And if we bring in blitz, if we want to blitz more, it'll expose our secondary with young corners like Thomas. Thomas is going to be great prospect, but he needs time to develop.
Exactly.
These are rookies, So let's just pray, man. I don't want to talk, man. It just runs chills around my back too because I'm so inspired for a great season that.
Me too.
I hate to say that, I'd rather lose somebody in the front line if we have to than Jason Verrett because
I agree.
We just can't afford. I don't want to lose nobody. Make sure I'm clear on that. But
right, I don't want to lose anybody
can't afford
either.
the depth to lose depth in the secondary. We don't have it as we do. We can get away with the pass rush, but with coverage, people don't realize how much important it is to cover out there, man. I don't care if you have the best pass rush out there. If the quarterback can immediately get the ball to the receiver because of lack of coverage, we're toast. So we need that. So Emmanuel Mosley, also someone that he's done great, but he still has his struggles. Hopefully he steps up. But I am very concerned about our secondary depth. If they stay healthy, we're good. If they get banged up, man, and I think the Niners believe this as well. That's why they're bringing depth, and they're looking at other players to bring in because they realize we may not. Because do you really want to depend on Dante Johnson?
No, he's horrendous. Tim Harris is horrible too.
Yes,
Tim Harris. They said every good play that was made in camp on day one was against Tim Harris.
Yeah.
He's not.
He's never been one that I've been excited about.
Yeah, I mean, he was like a 6th-round pick. I never thought Tim Harris was any good. No offense to him. I'm not an athlete. I could never play in the NFL, but I'm just calling a spade a spade. The dude's a 6th-round corner. There's a reason he's in the 6th round.
Listen,
it
is
what it is.
You're a content creator, bro. You're a content creator. You're entitled to your opinion. You don't have to be an athlete to understand what they can and can't do based on what they perform. You're going based on his performance. You're going based on his actions. You've seen what he's done and what he hasn't done. So I hear a lot of content creators do that. Why I'm not a athlete myself. You don't have to be one to see how good a good player is. And, you can tell me my wife is not an athlete and she don't even care about football. She knows about Mahomes, how good he is. So you don't have to worry, So as a content creator, it is our job to give kudos where kudos are and also be critical where critical needs to be at. So that's part of our job, man. So I commend you on that. And you're right. I don't like Harris, never have. So we'll see what happens there. But I definitely want Jason Verrett and Emmanuel Mosley to be the two guys that
Yep.
we don't talk about with it has to do
Exactly.
with injuries at all in 2021.
Exactly. Robert Games in the comments says, I'm surprised Dante Johnson is still on the team. So am I.
He's just
How is
dead.
he in the NFL
Yeah.
still? He's not any good.
Yeah. Well,
The Niners somehow always need to use him every year because they can't keep anybody healthy in their
he's
secondary.
better
It's
than
like,
Allen, right?
anybody's better than Brian Allen, no offense.
So
That was
yeah,
the worst. My brother is a Dolphins fan. I have never been so embarrassed to sit and watch a game with somebody. He doesn't talk trash, my brother, or anything, but I looked at him and I told him, I was like, I just don't have a good feeling about this game. We lost Bosa, we lost this person, we lost that person. Sure enough, that game was over in like the first quarter, man. That was just, they beat the brakes off us. And Jimmy played horrible. Turns out his ankle was a lot worse than originally thought of last year. But again, hopefully the injuries aren't an excuse this year because I'm getting really tired. My brother sounds like a good dude. Yeah, like watching football we're the most complimentary football fans. Like we always give props to other people's teams. Like we don't sit and watch games and like, chest bump and like puff our chest out saying like the Dolphins are great, the Niners are great, because we're realists. Even if my team was the Bucks or the Patriots during their heyday, yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit of garbage, but all that can end real quickly. A guy loses his career to a season-ending injury, and then it's all over. So I tend to always keep it like I'll talk a little trash. My brother will talk a little trash, but when we go to play our teams play each other, we both are almost like scared to be excited during the game because we don't want to make the other one get upset. But it's okay, it is what it is. In the end, it's just a game. It's not real life, but it is important to us. But at the same time, he is my brother, so I don't really. I'm not mad. Like, oh, the Dolphins beat us. I'm not going to talk to my brother for a week. Nah, it's like, whatever, dude. You want to get a pizza after the game? Sure, let's go get a pizza. It doesn't matter to me. So, hopefully.
when you're right, I just want to interject about being a game.
Yeah, no problem.
Just being a game. I hear you. But I am the biggest trash talker there is.
Are you?
And when I mean by trash talk, I'm not talking about being an idiot, calling you names, attacking you personally. I'm talking about I pump up my team against every opponent that we play, and I ride high or die low. Meaning, it's like I talk all the trash about the opposing team, and if we win, I talk even more trash on top of it. If we lose, then I take I take my medicine like a man, and I give credit to the team that we lost to. But I don't stop talking. It's just the fun of it. But at the end of the day, like you said, it is a game. So I don't attack nobody personally, and. Right. I mean, I like the Cowboys, and when I say Cowboys is to me is probably like for you. Well, you're a generation of the Cowboys, so you probably dislike the Cowboys as much as you hate the Seahawks. But I like the triplets. I like Aikman. I love. Emmitt
they were
Smith,
incredible. I hated what they did to us,
Irvin,
but
the Moose. I hate the team, but I'm a realistic. Listen, I'm a Niner fan, but I love the NFL. I love talking. I've learned so much about different teams because I talk into different fan bases, and at the end of the day, you're a Niner fan, your brother's a Miami fan. What the difference between you and your brother? The only difference is that you guys love two different teams, but you guys are passionate for your own team. So how can I be disrespectful for someone that loves the Seahawks? He only loves the Seahawks as much as I love my Niners. So I keep that in perspective. But now talking trash about the team overall, yes. Would I trade Trey Lance and Jimmy for Russell Wilson today? Yes, without even a hesitation, because it's proven. We don't know what we have in Lance. We know what you have in Russell. So I love football in general. Not a Niner fan may like it when I say that, but I like my Niners. I'll stick with my Niners no matter what. But I like football in general. So, and real quick to your brother, tell your brother that I said the Niner sickness is put on his seatbelt because his team is about to have some good games in 2021. I've been watching and I've been following the Dolphins from their offensive line, from their linebackers, from their secondary, uh, their quarterback play. Let's see if that works out. But I love Flores. I love that coach. A lot of coaches that come out of the Patriots are never good. This guy's going to be an exception to the rule about that. The Miami Dolphins are going to be a very good team. It sucks that they're having that issue with their cornerback situation, but they're a good defense. So kudos to your brother, man. And I know he's going to be excited for years to come.
Yeah, my brother is definitely it's tough because he's such a passionate fan, but he's been so used to disappointment. So it's like
been there, done that.
He gets excited for every year, and then by the end of the year, he's just like, I don't even care anymore. And then it repeats itself the following year. He gets excited again. The season goes on, and then it's like, I don't care anymore. I was like that last year. Yeah. Fernando in the chat says, how's it going? How are you doing, man? Thanks for dropping in the chat.
What's up, Fernando?
Thanks for dropping or just spending a little of your time. Thanks. My whole thing is, my nephew said this, and he's right about it. He's a Knicks fan, okay, in basketball, but he respects greatness. He says.
My condolences.
Yeah, they're bad. He's all about, he respects greatness. That's why he says all these people hate on Tom Brady or all these people hate on LeBron. He's like, he goes, you got to give props to greatness when it's there. He goes, people just don't want to do it for whatever reason. They don't want to give these guys credit. They always want to say disparaging things about them or discredit their accomplishments. And I do that sometimes because I'm an older guy. So I'm bitter that someone has come along and maybe be better than Joe, or someone's come along and maybe be better than Mike. And so I have to give every excuse why I think my guy's better. And those are the conversations we get into. But at the end of the day, he's right. You got to give credit to greatness, even if it's not your team. The Cowboys, I hated the Cowboys. You know why I hated the Cowboys growing up? In the 90s? Because they kicked our ass.
Yeah.
And they were better than us.
They beat us bad, yes.
Yeah. So, that was the reason. It wasn't because they were a sucky team and they got lucky. No. They were great. The Bills stood no chance in either of those Super Bowls against Cowboys. No chance.
No.
And everybody I live in Rochester, New York, okay? So I'm right near Buffalo. Okay. Everybody here is a Bills fan. When the Bills played Cowboys those 2 years, you could tell that these people, like the second one, nobody was really talking that much trash by that last Super Bowl that the Bills lost, because it was pretty much like, you know what? There's not a chance in hell they're going to beat that team. The NFC back in the 90s, as you know, Niner sickness, the NFC was the superior conference. Yep. They were the best team every single year. I think the NFC won the Super Bowl from 1982 to 1997 or something, until the Broncos won it back to back. Remember, the NFC was always the best team all the time. It was either the Niners, Cowboys,
that was
the Giants, the Redskins.
The NFC championship. That was the Super Bowl back then.
Yeah, you're right. So whoever pretty much won the NFC championship game was winning the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I remember the year we faced San Diego. I went to a Super Bowl party. And I was with a bunch of Steelers fans, and they were like, man, if the Steelers were in the game, we could kill you. I'm like, wait a minute. We just put a 50 burger almost on the Chargers, and you're telling me that if the Steelers played us, you guys were going to beat us?
And who beat the Steelers in
Chargers?
Pittsburgh? Thank you.
The Chargers. How are you even going to say your team's going to come in and beat us when the team that we're smashing by and putting a 50 burger on? It's like, stop being delusional.
Wishy-washy fans, bro.
Yeah, they didn't know their stuff.
No, they're emotional.
Tommy
fans.
Huxley in the chat said, "Without Joe Montana, there is no Tom Brady."
That's right.
That's right. You better believe it.
Now, because he learned a lot from Joe Montana. Now, Tom Brady deserves everything he has on his own merit, but he has something to look up to, in my opinion.
Right. Frank Tom Ocean in the chat says he's happy to hear that Jalen Hurd is healthy so far. Yeah. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, man. If that man can stay healthy and be productive this year, and we have the other two guys, and, Sanu steps in or whatever, and Richie James, and everybody kind of slots accordingly, like everybody plays in their slot as far as their roster place, because sometimes guys will play in a spot on the roster that they really shouldn't be playing. that's why I say, like, if you bring in a great player, then everybody is actually in the place where they're supposed to be on the depth chart.
Correct.
So, like, if Jalen Hurd is number 3, then Sanu will be your number 4, and then Richie James will be your number 5. Like, and everything will kind of trickle its way to the way it's supposed to be. So I really hope, because, man, if you got him in the slot, and you got Kittle, and you got Ayuk, and you got Deebo with the running game that we have, oh lordy, if we're healthy, dude, we could seriously put some serious beatdowns on people this year.
Oh,
I am a little irritated that all the trash that Aaron Rodgers talked about that franchise, and then he's still coming back, man. Like, I thought we were going to face them without Aaron Rodgers, man. I was looking for an easy victory, but of course that's not going to happen.
Aaron Rodgers. I want to face him. I want to put him on his ass. Aaron Rodgers, as good as he is, their defense. Their offense are not good enough to go against good defenses.
Us
and
at full strength,
stop the run.
Right. Us at full strength, I think we're a better team, even with him at quarterback. 49ers Ultimate Report said he just finished his stream and he's coming in here to say what's up.
What's up, Ultimate John J?
He said nice hat too, by the way, John.
Thank you, sir.
Jay. Yeah, you're repping hard, man. You look good. I'm in a t-shirt I got today that says Faith, Family, and 49ers Football.
That's
the order it should be in anyways, right?
Yes.
Faith first, family, and then the Niners. I can't put the Niners above my family as much as I love them. Because
no.
My family doesn't disappoint me as much as the 49ers do, at least lately. I hate to say it, but that's how it is. Frank Tom Ocean wants to know where you got that jersey.
I sell jerseys myself, so that's what I do. That's the side business that I have. So I sell NBA, baseball, hockey, all the jerseys. So I have a page on Facebook, a Quality Stitch jerseys. So I get them myself. They're quality stitch jerseys. I do custom jerseys. I can get you from the size of a T6 all the way up to 10X in jerseys. So I'm sorry that I'm promoting my jersey there in your show.
Don't worry about it.
If you want to get a jersey, let me know. Quality Stitch jerseys on Facebook. Hit me up and I'll give you a good deal. But yeah, these are high quality stitch. None of that overseas that the numbers are crooked and the labels or it says the wrong player in the back or misspelled. None of that. These are not authentic, but they are like as close as you can get to being authentic without paying that price.
Do you have I heard you said you're part of that 49ers Facebook page.
What
the
part
other
of what
day? There's a Facebook page that a Niners, I don't know what it's called. Is it Faithful or something? I don't know. There was a 49ers page that I post videos there sometimes, and I heard you mention it one day, and I thought maybe you were a part of it.
I'm part of quite a few. So when you mean part of me, mean as a administrator or just as
possibly? Possibly.
People make me admins without me even knowing that I become admins. Mm-hmm. I go in there and post, and it says that I can just do whatever I want. I'm like, wow, they made me an admin. Okay, but sorry about my birds in the background. They're getting a little excited. They haven't been out of their cage. Yeah, so I belong to a couple of pages, so most likely I do. You got to, like I said, I come from the world of Facebook. So prior to coming to YouTube, I was all over the place, Facebook. Now I'm branching out to YouTube and hopefully growing my brand on YouTube.
Definitely. Unfortunately, when you do content, you gotta use social media.
Yes.
You have. It's the only way to get yourself out there. Like, I don't get a ton of views on Twitter. But like I post a lot of screen caps of my streams to Instagram. I tag my link to my channel always in the comments. And then I tag it to a bunch of 49er pages on Instagram. I do the same thing on Twitter. I did it for a Facebook for a while. But you got to put yourself out there a little bit. I'm not a big fan of social media. Well, I lie. I'm okay with social media. I used to be a lot more putting a lot of drama on there back when I was having some issues with a lady back in the day, but I don't do that anymore. It's all football. I don't do any of that sappy, whiny, complainy stuff. It's all football all the time now.
No more soap opera. Now it's football.
No more soap opera. People don't want to hear that trash.
No, you're mistaken. A lot of people do want to hear that stuff, but not us.
Tommy Huxley says the O-line did some no favors, pass pro, and the injured running backs. Yeah, the offensive line was pretty horrendous last year. To be honest with you, it was pretty bad. Hopefully, they've remedied the situation with the drafting of Aaron
Aaron
Banks
Banks,
and, like you said, of adding of Alex
Alex
Mack
Mack.
and having Trent Williams there for at least the next, hopefully, 4 seasons. I would say 3 to 4 seasons. You have a great left tackle, man. It means everything. He's probably the best in the league. He's the best in the world, whatever you want to call him. I guess we'll go. I'll transition into receiver since we were talking
Okay.
about that. What's your concern level on the receiver front? Are you kind of in the same mindset as the cornerback position? Like, I don't think we're thin. I just
No.
think we have a lot of unproven players.
Yes. Well, AB, we all know. BA, excuse me, BA. We all know that he's going to be better his second year around. I'm looking forward to seeing this kid is a pure receiver. I'm really looking to see what we have in Deebo Samuel. He's great when he's healthy. My concern is his health issues. You can be the best of the best, but if you're not on the field, it really doesn't matter, in my opinion. So, Brandon and you coming in, I'm really hope the Niners lean on him as the number one and make Deebo Samuel the number 2 receiver, and then the number 3. Hopefully, that would be Jalen Hurd, Jawan Jennings, Mohamed Sanu. We need that big. See, I never liked Richie James at number 3 because we need that big body that can block.
We do. Yes.
Because we run so much, we need that third receiver, not so much for catching as for blocking down the field and opening up those lanes when our running back gets into that second gear. And we need that big body of Jalen Hurd. To me, Jalen Hurd is a bigger Deebo Samuel, if you will, body-wise. And I think they're going to use him a lot the way they used Deebo. Now, that's going to be up to how healthy he is with his back and all. But I would love to see that combination. But the combination, like you said, bro, of Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Hurd, Mohamed Sanu, for whatever reason, whatever he was going in mentally last year, when he came to the Niners last year, he wasn't mentally in it. He's not the same Mohamed Sanu of Atlanta when he was younger, but this kid is a professional. And even though he's older, he's still a kid when it comes to me. So
Right.
this kid can do a lot. He brings that veterans presence. And you guys, I don't know if you guys heard, but when we cut him last year, Brandon and you and Deebo were upset because they were
I saw that.
they liked what he brings into the locker room, the experience. So Muhammad said he looks like his own self, and he's representing that 18 better than Dante Pettis has ever done so far.
Oh,
So
no doubt.
I'm hoping he has a great year for us. So am I so concerned in the receiving core as I am in the secondary? No. I think
Me
we
neither.
need depth there, but we'll be that much better with an elevated and healthy Deebo playing his best. Obviously with Kittle, because Kittle to me is our number 1 receiver.
Yep.
Kittle. If you really want to put it in perspective, it's Kittle, Ayuk, and Deebo at 3.
That's right.
In my perspective. And then we have that running game with a better, and then the offensive line was bad last year, but it was a lot of injuries there. We stay healthy, and we brought in depth as well. So we're pretty good there, man. I like what Kyle Shanahan is doing. He's putting his chips down the middle of the table, and he's going to rock with it. And hopefully, and the thing about Trey Lance is he's definitely pushing Jimmy to be better Jimmy. So that's a good thing. But back to the receivers, I think we're good. I like Deebo. I love Brandon and you. And if they can stay healthy, watch out. I'm telling you, 2021 is going to be a fun. We're going to put up points. We're going to put up
I
points.
think so, too.
To be fun to watch this year.
Tommy Huxley did make a point that Sanu wasn't healthy last year. They did.
Yep.
They said that he was dealing with a really bad high ankle sprain, I guess.
Yes. And
then they ended up cutting him.
It can mess with you. Yes.
They said he's a different player. Shanahan said he looks more like the one he
In Atlanta.
the
When they
Sanu
brought
we
him
knew
the
in
first
Atlanta.
time. Yeah.
That's all you want to hear.
Yep.
because he was pretty damn good in Atlanta. I guess I'll transition over to the Niners front office doing good
Okay.
in the re-signing of Fred Warner and extending him. How excited were you, and how worried were you about that? Because I wasn't worried, and I was really excited. And a lot of people were like, "Oh man, I don't know if he's going to get signed before camp." And just like the signing of the quarterback Trey Lance, I was not worried at all. This front office, say what you will about some of the misses in the draft that they've had, and they've had some big misses. They've been doing right by a lot of their great players lately, and Fred Warner, after Kittle last year, they locked him up for long term. How excited are you about having number 54 here for at least the next 5 seasons?
Oh, I love me D Ford. I'm friends with his dad on Facebook. Fred Warner's dad,
Did I?
senior.
Okay.
So not Fred Warner, his dad. His Fred Warner won't give me a time of day, but it's all good. I love him anyway. Uh so I wasn't concerned at all, and this is why. Last year, if you would have asked me if I was concerned about signing a Kittle before the season, I would have said, hell yeah. I don't know what to expect with the Kittle. But if I learned anything from the Kittle signing, it eased me to believe that the front office takes care of the players they feel are great players on the field and off the field. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be willing to work with you if you're a vital part of that position. So they signed Kittle right before the training camp started. Same thing with Fred Warner. I knew they were going to sign him. It was just a matter of both parties agreeing on all the logistics of the contract. And Parag Mate, man, let me tell you, I nobody gives this guy as much props
Parag is the
as he
man.
deserves. Oh, yeah, I'm always screwing up his name. If I screw it up, I'm sorry. But
Oh, that's all right.
yeah, so what he does for the 49ers, working out the logistics of contracts where the player doesn't feel like they totally got burnt, but it's always 49er friendly. Always 49er friendly. Um, and I like what they did there. So I wasn't concerned about Fred Warner. I know Fred Warner was signed because I knew Fred Warner loved the Niners and he wanted to be here for a long time. So when both parties love that, that's always a good thing. And a lot of people were concerned because we lost Buckner when we lost Buckner. But listen, nothing against Buckner. I think Buckner's a great player, but he's not a Fred Warner to his position.
Agreed.
Okay, Brett
Agreed.
Buckner is not an AD. He's not Aaron Donald.
Exactly.
Okay,
Nope.
so he don't need to get paid Aaron Donald money when he's not an Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
But
People forget that.
yes, but Fred Warner is that guy that wears the green dot on his helmet. He's the quarterback of the defense. He's a great player. Now Buckner's a great player and a great guy off the field as well. But D tackle wasn't his game wasn't that good as or valuable as Fred Warner. So I knew the Niners when they pivot someone and they love somebody, they'll make it work. It's just a matter of time. And to move on to Trey, it was never money concern with Trey. Rookies nowadays, they know what they're going to get based on where they get drafted at. So it was
Yep, they get
never a
slotted.
money. It was always the logistics of if he gets cut, if he doesn't work out, does he get all the bonuses, all those little things that he had to work out both parties. So I knew that was coming. And right at the nick of time, I mean, talk about the eve of the first practice
That's right.
for him to sign, and he hasn't missed a practice. And another thing, you don't draft a third overall kid like this. Now, back in the day when we had, who was the last quarterback that made all that money? It was it Sam, the one that
Sam
went to the
Darnold?
Rams? Sam Donald? No, not Sam Donald. Remember the quarterback
Oh,
when he made up? He got like
I know what
$80
you're
million
talking about.
signing.
Sam. His name was Sam. I just forget his last name.
Yeah. So, but we know who we were talking about. Remember he now back then you can draft a quarterback high and don't know if he's going to hold out or not because it was always a money thing. Now it's never a money thing. Rookies get what they know they're going to get. So I did not see a reason why he wouldn't be in the field, especially how important he is to learn every rep that he needs to take to be successful. Especially, let's be honest. I know Kyle Shanahan said that there's no competition at the quarterback position. Oh, that's
Right.
bull. That's bull. Okay, there is competition at that. Bradford, thank you. Yes, Sam Bradford. There is competition. He was just being indirect. When he said Jimmy was the best quarterback in the Niners now, he didn't say in general. He said he's the best quarterback now.
Right.
Meaning, let's wait until the end of training camp and ask me that question again. So, but you know
he
what?
Just wanted to shut it down, I think, so people would stop asking.
But at the end of the day, let's be realistic. Whoever starts week 1 is going to be way better than they were in the start of training camp, because these two guys are going to push each other to the best of their ability, in my opinion. And that's good for us, right?
Definitely. Fernando in the comments commented earlier, he said Nick Mullins is trash. I hate him with fire.
Oh,
Most
wow.
turnover-prone QB. Yeah, I was not a big fan of Nick Mullins.
Yeah, me neither. I don't hate him, but I hear you.
I didn't like Beathard either, man. They were, man.
Yeah.
How Shanahan, when he gets his loyalty, like if he drafts a guy, he gets really loyal to him, even if they're straight trash. And it takes a while for him to move off of somebody. Like moving off of Dante Pettis. I hated Pettis. People were like, oh, why do you hate him so much? Because one, he was boo-boo on the field. And two, he didn't seem like he cared. He didn't care about football. He seems like he cared more about cats, which is fine because I like cats too. But, like, I don't know, man. He rubbed me the wrong way as a grown man, and there was just something about him. I'm not going to say what. He's just kind of a weird dude.
I know where you're going, but I hear you.
Yeah, he was a little, I don't know. All I'll say is weird.
Let's not go there.
Let's keep it PG here. But anyways, so I guess in conclusion here, I think, what was I going to say? I totally forgot. I have to go to my comments here.
Damn, Dante Pettis messed you up, didn't he?
Yeah, Dante Pettis puts me in a weird headspace every time I talk to him. Yeah, I just think with the quarterback position, the best way to get in front of all the talking is to just say, like right now, Garoppolo is the starter, Trey is the second quarterback. And,
That's
right
correct,
now,
yeah.
Jimmy might be the best quarterback right now. But we all know that the Niners invested in their future. They gave away a bunch of stuff and or a bunch of draft capital, not a bunch of stuff.
No, I know.
And
we know what you meant.
It's going to be him sooner than later. I say be patient. Even though I'm not a patient individual, I'm extremely impatient.
Me too.
I want to see him be great right away. Hopefully, my nephew's very much in the wait and see approach. He doesn't get overly excited about anything anymore with the Niners because he said he gets disappointed all the time. So
Smart.
Frank Tom Motion says Pettis' hair held him back. Yeah, his hair was weird too. I got to get off the Pettis.
He reminded me of Fifi. You know who Fifi was, right?
Sounds familiar. I just can't think of where it's from.
He was one of our Niner receivers. You might have heard of him.
Oh, Jerry Rice?
That's right. When
They
Jerry
call
Rice
him
first
Fifi.
came on here.
That's what Joe Montana used to call him Fifi because of his hair.
Yeah, his hair. Fifi, I'm trying to think of Griffin was the first one. Don Griffin, corner from the Niners, is the one that gave him that nickname.
Good old Don Griffin.
Yeah, he's the one that gave him that nickname of Fifi. So for those that didn't know, there's some history, and you can never find that in Google. Jerry Rice. Now, the only difference is Jerry Rice's hair wasn't colored like Dante's, but it looked a lot similar.
Yeah, he had Jerry Rice had the Jerry curl back then.
Yeah.
He was rocking the Jerry curl hard. And he was dropping some passes in his first camp. He was having some struggles.
Terrible the first year, bro. He looked like he was going to be a bust coming out of Mississippi State, bro. I don't know about you, bro, but I was like, oh man, did we draft the right receiver? This guy was bad. But boy, oh boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, Jerry Rice was, to me, I think he's one of the greatest football players of all time. Yeah, I love Jerry.
I don't think there's a receiver better than him. Nobody's better than him right now.
I have a Cowboy fan that I work with, is an older gentleman. And we were getting into it pretty hardcore, and he was discrediting the Niners on everything. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm at work. I'm not going to let this conversation get me upset because I was starting to get hot, And I'm like, I'm going to take it personal, and I'm going to say something I regret. So I just kind of killed the conversation. But he was like, yeah, Jerry Rice is not the best. Montana was not that great. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like he was discredit after discredit. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. So I had to shut it down.
You know what I tell people like that? get out of your feelings.
Yeah, get out
Get
of your
out of your
feelings,
feelings.
please.
That's your feeling. That's you being a Cowboy fan and hating the Niners. That's just you and your feelings, man. And get out of here. Stop having a tantrum.
Yeah. Frank Tom Ocean says, "We're set for the future. All our stars are signed. Bosa will get Ford's contract money when he drops off, and Jimmy G's contract will go to Trey if he lives up to standards." Pretty much. The Niners, if things work out the right way, are in a pretty good shape. They they just know how to do, like you said. Parag Marafe is a cap genius, and he's done well with these 49er contracts. The only ones that were kind of bad was the D Ford. Richburg wasn't the greatest contract. We had to overpay on that one. But for the most part, I think the Niners have done well.
Can I correct you real quick on the D4? The D4 was a great contract. It just
Really?
didn't work out for us because of injury. We took I don't think the D4 was at all bad, in my personal opinion. The Richburg, yes. But and I still believe that Kyle Juszczyk was the worst, but we needed a fullback.
Yeah, I'm a little miffed on him. I like him as a player, but man, to give that much money to a fullback, it's
Yeah,
still
it's a lot.
yeah.
So I agree
That's
with
pretty
you there.
expensive.
But for D4, and if you don't mind me to inject here real quick on the D4,
Yeah, no problem.
He looks great, by the way. But he always looks great, Niner faithful. I'm not
In
trying to be
camp.
a Downy Downer here, but he looks great in June and July. I want to see
Exactly.
what he looks like with pads in September. So, but it's nice to see him out there. It's nice. One thing you gotta love about D4, man, he's passionate for the game. I love what he did in the offseason. He knew that he was injured. Listen, D4 did not have to give no money back. He didn't have to give none of that money back. He got his contract. He could have said, you know what, screw you. The guy
Right.
loves the organization, and kudos to the organization and Jed York and Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. You may hate Jed York for whatever reasons, but the offense line, the front line of the 49ers, not the offense, but the front line of the 49ers are great. They're well respected. What they bring into this to this team is players want to play for them. For D4 to give up all that money, that was really what allows us to move towards Trent Williams and be able to sign him. So D Ford, I wish him the best, man. Even if we
Me too.
listen, this is my opinion. Even if he just comes in on third downs,
Right.
third and longs, and just pins his ears back and rushes the quarterback, I'll be happy with that. If we get more of him, more power to it. But even on third downs, I'll take him, man. Because this kid, when he's on the field, the defense is different
It is.
with them without him. So I wish him the best. Hopefully he's good. And I'm telling the whole 31 teams out there, if D4 can play in 2021, ooh, watch out. This
Exactly.
defense is going to be scary.
Yeah, his pass rush is going to be good. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. From where this front office was back in at the end of the Harbaugh era, how dysfunctional, and they had all the leaks, and there was all this information that was being leaked, to where it is now, and how much teams and players respect this front office. That's all John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. They've been able to turn the perception of this team and organization around. Jed York let go of his ego, knew he made a mistake by letting Harbaugh go, and did his best to kind of remedy that situation.
He
So
learned.
props to Jed. Jed is growing on me. I did not like him a couple years ago. I thought he was just a pudgy little spoiled brat. But, he's let these two guys kind of take control of the situation and kind of stand in the background where he belongs. And hopefully, we got to a Super Bowl. We didn't finish the job. Hopefully we can get back there and finally bring home number 6. That quest for 6 has been going on a long time, man, but I think we're close. Hopefully. Exactly. Everybody needs to remember that.
Quest for 6. But if I can just add real quick about Jed York.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to realize when he took over the team, listen, as bad as Jed York was in the beginning, he was way better than John York, his dad, running
he
the
was
team.
horrible.
Okay, that was being pathetic. Jed York was young, wet behind his ears when he took over, as CEO of the 49ers. I don't know. I don't care who you are. If you are at your job, present job, you're not as good then as you are now.
Mm-hmm.
Experience makes everybody better at their craft. Jed
Yep.
York was young. He had a lot of things over his head. His uncle was going through legal issues, so his uncle couldn't help him. A lot of things were happening. And he made a lot of bad mistakes. He let Balky control the narrative because he was inexperienced. That's why Balky had the control of that team. And that's why the decision of letting John Harbaugh go over Balky was a mistake. But that was because he was young. Say what you want to say about Jed York. He learned from his mistakes, and that's all you want from somebody is to learn. If you love Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and what the team is today, they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jed York taking that risk on giving a contract, a first-time head coach in Kyle Shanahan, and a first-time general manager in John Lynch, 6-year contracts, bro. So say what you want to say. He took that risk and it paid off. He's staying he's out of the equation. He's allowing his people run the business. He's not the Jerry Jones of football right now. He's letting everybody run. So Jed York has grown on me, and whether you like me or not, or whether you agree with me or not, I have respect for him, because all you want in anyone is to learn and grow, and he's definitely done it, in my opinion.
Definitely. Fernando says, I agree. Sickness. Jed York has changed this franchise around, and it's a big difference. Yes. He also said that Kyle just needs to be more aggressive and stop outsmarting himself.
Yes.
His ego gets in the way. Yeah, yes, I definitely see that sometimes.
Yes.
It's like they're trying to reinvent. They're trying to reinvent the wheel sometimes. You got to sometimes you just got to, it's not rocket science sometimes. Like, I watch games sometimes and I get so frustrated with Kyle.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're trying too hard or trying to out clever somebody and try to be more clever. Dude, just if the running game is killing them, keep smashing them. Like, just whatever. Whatever. But you're, like you said, it's a learning experience, and he's learned, and John has learned. John had a pretty bad first draft. He missed everybody but Kittle, and I think DJ Jones was the other guy that came from that draft. Pretty much everybody else was a complete mess and bust. So, I mean,
first year, though, Trent Taylor. Can you blame him? His first year.
He did get the best tight end in the league, though. So I guess that
was luck, but
for as bad of a hit rate as that draft was, we definitely got the number one tight end in the NFL.
Which makes that whole draft good, right?
Right, exactly. When you get the greatest tight end in the NFL, that's all that matters. Exactly. Anything you want to say in closing?
Just
as we wrap this up,
if you don't mind, just continue to promote my my YouTube channel.
Definitely.
This is a great channel here, and I know that all your faithful are faithful to you, but I am trying to grow my YouTube channel. So if you guys can support me, it's all you got to do is type in Niner Sickness on the search bar, and it pops right up. If you guys can subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. If you need jerseys, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, college football, soccer, hit me up. Custom-made jerseys. You can hit me up, or you can send me. You can ask to be part of my group on Quality Stitch jerseys, and I'll be happy to take care of your jersey needs. Other than that, let's just rock. Let's go Niners, and let's have a great year. Let's get after that Super Bowl, baby.
Yep. Fernando says, pray for a great season. Definitely going to pray for a great season. Yes. Yeah, people subscribe to Niner Sickness. Go follow his channel for sure. Like I said, he puts a lot of effort. He gave me this overlay that you're seeing on the screen right now. He made this for me.
It looked familiar. I got
one for, it looks familiar for sure. Offered it to me. I didn't, out of the kindness of his heart, I appreciate it. So he's a good dude. And go subscribe to his channel and go listen when he's live streaming, man. He puts a lot of work into his stuff. His quality is second to none. I love his intros on his live streams and his videos. I'm jealous. I don't know how he does it. I'm not that tech savvy, so anytime I watch your stuff and you have like an intro, I'm like, man, that is so
I do everything myself. So everything I do it myself. So I
know that, and I totally give you credit for that because it's fantastic.
Yeah,
definitely.
And even to that intro that I have, real quick, the one that from the draft, the one that the NFL did, that the Niners did. I kind of tweaked it up and made it my own.
I
Not
see
just
that.
the music, but I'm talking about the effects within that video. I tweaked it so to make it my own. But hey, I thank you on 49ers first takes and for having me on your show. It was an honor, a pleasure. I had fun. I enjoy you have the best viewers on your channel. Um, I'm totally blessed to see you be successful in your
Appreciate
channel,
that.
bro. You're doing great. Continue
Thank
what
you.
you do, bro. I know you're in the East Coast, and I know you haven't gone to a Niner game, but hey, listen, to see the fire and passion that you have for your Niners, being that you're not on the West Coast and doing what you're doing, I admire that. I'm rooting for you, man, and I have nothing but the most respect for you, bro. So keep doing you, bro, and your channel is gonna just continue to blow up, brother.
I appreciate that. Same to you. And 49ers Ultimate Report says, great show. Shout out to Niners Sickness
John
in the
Jay,
super chat.
send me an email. I promised to get him a jersey, and he hasn't sent me no email. So if you don't get a jersey from me, bro, it's not on me. It's on you.
Definitely.
Send me that
I
email.
might have to talk to you about jerseys too down the road. I might have to get in contact with you about this.
Don't tell nobody, but
Now,
I'll hook you up, bro.
do you do just the normal ones, like the normal, or are they specialty type?
What do
Can
you
I
mean
just get
normal?
like a Willis? Can I, or
Oh
not a
yeah,
Willis?
oh
Can
yeah,
I get
anything,
just
anything.
like the
Custom.
throwback Fred Warner?
Yeah, the normal ones that are now the players from the past now, anything I can get for you. If it's out there, I can get it for you.
All right, I'll definitely keep you in mind because my brother orders from this other site, but he has to order in quantity. So
No, I can get him some nice Dolphin ones too, bro. So all my
definitely,
customers come back to me and because they don't know me off the internet, so they're kind of, and I understand when you order something. I have people order $400-500 worth of jerseys from me, and that's a
that's
lot.
crazy.
That even blows me away. They don't know me from Jack, and they spend $500, and I'm like, wow, okay. Either they have a lot of money, they're not really concerned, or they're really trusting me. But my job is to take care of my customer the best of my ability because the greatest promotion is within. If you take care of your customers and they love your product, they're going to tell people about you. And that's the way. And it's all about respect. I come from the old school, bro. I'm old. A
Yep,
handshake is worth a lot. So
it is eye contact too.
eye contact. So if you don't have self respect, if you don't have integrity, then
That's
you're
right.
always going to lose at everything. So it's all about integrity.
Exactly.
It's all about taking care of your customers, man. And it's about making a profit. Otherwise, why are you in the business? But it's not
Exactly.
to kill people either, man. And understand that everybody comes from a different lifestyle financially. So not everybody's in the same bracket, man. So I take all that into consideration when I help my customers out.
Definitely, bro. Hey, it's been great. It's been fun. We're going to do this again during the season for sure. Thank you, everybody, for joining in on the live chat. I appreciate it. Thanks for the donation, John Jay. And go Niners, Quest for 6. And I'll see everybody on the flip side.
Love it.
Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
Peace.
Good night, everyone. Peace.